That's funny. Soli says, nah. Nah to have you using Bootstrap before? Let me see if I can find a funny GIF. This one's good. I like this one. Yeah, no Bootstrap yet for Soli. Basically, no Bootstrap yet for me either. I used this once, like years and years and years ago, so this will be fun. This will be a fun stream. Hopefully. Well, we'll see. I really do like their UI, so if they built this with Bootstrap, maybe Bootstrap's a lot better than it used to be. Travis's gift. Let me pull up the chat, the Discord server. That's so funny. All right, we're gonna get started without him because I'm not gonna wait for him if he's not coming. He'll watch the replay. He might be busy too. Build fast, responsive sites with Bootstrap. I can do that with Tailwind though. Powerful, extensible, and feature-packed front-end toolkit. Build and customized with SASS. Okay. SASS. Utilize pre-built grid system and components and bring projects to life with powerful JavaScript plugins. Let's read how to get started with it, because we're gonna do two different builds with this today. We're gonna do something in vanilla JavaScript, something relatively easy, so that I can do it on stream and also do it again in React. So we're gonna do two projects today, and we're gonna use Bootstrap for both of them. Unless Bootstrap is so painfully hard for me to use in the vanilla version, I'll swap to Tailwind and React. But what should we build? I'm thinking maybe something like just a simple to-do list app, because I think that's relatively simple. And there's also tons of things that you guys can add to it if you want to contribute. And I'll do two separate repositories for each of these builds. First to do, build to do app. I like that. So I use this. So I'm in Firefox right now, and I use this this really cool homepage. It's called Tab Bliss. You can see it up here in the top left. TABLISS, and you can kind of make like your own home screen here. But it's really cool because you can set up things wherever you want. And I got this little to-do list thing here, so I can put make to-do list on stream. Just hit enter, and then it's always here. So whenever I'm finally do it, I can mark it off and whatnot. But there's all sorts of super cool things you can do with this extension. I like the minimal stuff, so I just got the date, the time, and a little hello message. But there's all sorts of really cool little widgets and stuff that you can add in. Sorry, was eating, he says. Dennis was eating. Dennis, how dare you eat? How dare you? You should starve. I'm kidding. No one should starve. I like this tab list. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't know if it's for anything else like Chrome. It probably is. But sorry, was eating. You know what, Dennis? Because you were eating and you missed the whole... We already built 3 apps with Bootstrap, and I'm not redoing any of it. So we're going to have to build something now in Tailwind. Here I am rocking like a hurricane. It's going to be stuck in my head now. Oh, by the way, is the sound to voice audio ratio good for everyone? Let me know if it's not. If the music's too low or if it's too loud or whatnot. I made everyone ping you in Discord, Dennis. With no context at first. We were all just tagging you. So all you missed was that I basically just said I've never used Bootstrap in years. And when I did, it was only like once. So I don't even know how to set it up. But what we're going to do is we're going to build 2 apps. I think we're going to do something simple like a to-do app, something that I can do twice. Look at all these balloons pop up when I do that. Did I win? Did I win something? Oh, wait. I know what that is. And it also freezes my camera when this happens. Hold on. I have to refix it. There we go. Wait, I think I can do like 2 and like something cool will happen too. Or maybe I lied. Maybe I just look stupid now. Come on. Okay, it kind of worked. It broke again. I need to stop breaking my camera. There we go. And how do you feel with Bootstrap? I don't know. I haven't done anything with this yet. So kind of back to what I was saying. We're going to build something in vanilla JavaScript. And I'm going to use Bootstrap, and we're going to build it, and we're going to see how long that takes and how easy that was. And then we're going to do the exact same thing right after in React. And if Bootstrap doesn't give me a complete headache, I'll use Bootstrap for the React version too. But maybe I'll set up a timer and see which one took me longer. And I think we'll do something simple like a to-do list app. So I'll set up 2 separate repos, one for the vanilla JavaScript version and one for the React version. So I guess let's just do that first. Let's set up a new repo. We'll say to-do list app with I'll just call this one Bootstrap, and then we'll just say React and Bootstrap on the other one. A simple to-do list app built in vanilla JavaScript and Bootstrap. Because Dennis. That's it. That's the whole description there. Yay, description. I know I never include them, but I am now, so let's clone this. I'm gonna put this on my desktop. Well, no, I'll put it in code. What's in code? 100 days of code, grading tool, Livestream weather app. Yeah, we'll just pop it in here. Say git clone. We'll paste in our newly created repo. Dennis will forever live on in my GitHub description for this repo. So let's code. Let's open this up. Why did that take so long? Oh, that's why. So code r dot. Nope, that ain't gonna work either. CD. What do we call this? To-do list app Bootstrap. CD to-do list app Bootstrap. There we go. Well. Since this is going to be in vanilla JavaScript, let's see how we can install it, but I think we'll probably just use like a CDN. Yeah. Quick start. To get started by including Bootstrap's production-ready CSS and JavaScript via the CDN. It's nice to see those commands in action. I just learned about those. Oh, which commands, Sully? Which ones? I wrote a bunch just now. I don't even remember what I wrote. CDN without the need for any build steps. See it in practice with Bootstrap CodePen demo. I don't see anything. Create a new index.html file in your project root. Include meta name equals viewport tag as well for proper responsive behavior in mobile devices. Yeah, this is just basic HTML stuff. So let's do index.html, hit exclamation mark, and then tab to create all of that fun stuff that we need. CDN is better. Yeah, that's what I'm probably going to use for this. I'll probably install it with npm for the React version because it'll probably just work a little bit better, but we'll see. I don't know code one though. So Lee, the code one you have to kind of set up in VS Code, but basically, so right now I'm in my code folder that's on my desktop. So if I open that up, this is the directory that I'm in the terminal right here. And these are the folders that I have, and you can see we have the to-do list app Bootstrap. So if I want to open this up directly into VS Code without having to like drag it in there or something, you could just say code and then the name of the folder. So to-do list app Bootstrap, like that. Or if you're already inside of it, so code was just a directory. No, code just is, it's like a command that like opens up VS Code with whatever directory you're either in or you specify. So you could say code and then the repo name like that in there. Or Brian taught me recently, you could do -r. Brian, if you're in here, maybe you can explain what that actually means. I don't remember what it means. But doing that, I forget what it actually does. I forget what it does. Let's see what it happens if I just do code to-do list app Bootstrap. Well, it's already open. I don't know. R is reclusive. So real quick, Sully, if you want to be able to use that code command, it doesn't work out of the box. You press Option P. I'm sorry, you press, I thought it was Option P. How do you get that? Oh, is it Option period maybe? Do you guys know how to get the command palette? I think it is called open. I forget. Command Shift P. There we go. So you type in Command Shift P and type in code. And I think if you scroll down, yeah, shell command install code in command path. You just have to click this. You click that, and then you'll be able to use that code command to open up things directly into VS Code. It's a small quality of life boost. I really like it. Include Bootstrap's CSS and JavaScript. Place the link tag in the head of our CSS and the script tag for our JavaScript bundle, including popper for positioning, dropdowns, popper, blah, 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 before the closing body tag. Click learn more about our CDN links. Okay, so this is the CDN link for the CSS. So what we can do is just above the titles where I like to put it, we'll put the href and we'll paste in that CDN link. And just before the closing body tag, we'll do script. Let's do script source like this. And I'll take this, I'll copy it, and I'll paste it in there. And I think that's everything we'll need. R was for recursive, not reclusive. I would have said the same thing. All right, so I got the CDN set up. Let's just see if that's really all we need. Oh, looks like I could have copied this. Well, you can also include popper and RJS separately if you don't plan to use drop-downs, popovers, tooltips to save some kilobytes. And this is a small project. I don't think it's going to matter. Hello world. Open the browser, your choice, Bootstrap page. You can now start building with Bootstrap. Okay, so I think that's really it. Just setting up those CDN links. Cool, so let's start figuring out some of these components that we get. Let's start off with something small, just see if this works. We'll do a nav bar. Okay, so let's build this nav bar. It looks like this is the HTML, so I'm gonna copy this to the clipboard and I'm gonna paste this in the HTML file. I'm gonna hit save, and I'm just gonna open this up in the browser. And it looks like it works right out the box. So, okay, so far, ease of use, no issues here. And all this is an HTML file. There's no JavaScript yet. There's no CSS. And I've got a kind of a cool little thing here, and the drop down works. So that CDN for the popper, I guess popper's a library. But either way, the CDN link for the JavaScript works, and the CSS works too. So I guess we're good to go. But I know no one wants to see this light mode, right? So I guess let's first figure out how to do a dark mode, and then we'll get to building out this to-do list app. Because my eyes. Let's close off Twitch. Don't need that. So the popper link is separate if you want it to be separate, Travis. It read, but I think I just included all of it together with that CDN link that I used. But you can use it separately if you don't want to use it. All right, so let's look for dark mode. Can I just search dark? Yep, dark mode. Ooh, okay, so how do we use this? Well, let's just start reading. Bootstrap now supports color modes, starting with dark mode. With version 5, you can implement your own color mode toggler. See below for an example from Bootstrap's docs, and apply the different color modes as you see fit. We support a light mode default. Okay, so that's why this is light. Ooh, that's bright. Color modes can be toggled globally on the HTML element. Okay, that's good to know. So I don't have to like do this for every single component we make. So on specific components and elements, thanks to the data bs-theme attribute. Alternatively, you can also switch to the media query implementation thanks to our color mode mixin. Okay, so they're saying mixin right here. Does anybody know what mixin is? It's a thing with SASS. So let me know if someone knows what it is. It's actually one of my favorite parts of using SASS. See the usage section for details. Heads up though, this eliminates your ability to change themes on a per component basis as shown below. Okay, I kind of figured that. I figured it would probably override it. You don't know what a mixin is, Soli? I do not have SASS installed in this project, but I'm gonna go ahead and just try to show you. I'm not gonna be able to really like physically show you, but I'll try to explain. Mixing up some tasty salad, basically. So if we had an app.scss file, which is a SASS file, in here you can write your normal CSS. Like you could say, I don't know, let's say we had a container and we had a height of 100 pixels and we had a width of 100% and a background color of white. Now, let's say I want to use that a zillion times. Like, let's say this is actually the container for a card. Instead of creating a class that's just called card and then putting it on every HTML element, if you're working with actual CSS, there's an easier way to do it. It's a mixin. So you could say @mixin, and you can call this whatever you want. You could say container, and you can put all of this code in here like that. And now, let's say we didn't call it container because we can be more descriptive now. We can say library container, and we want it to have all of those container values and properties. We can just say @mixin container. I think that's how I would use it, right? I haven't used it in a bit. Oh no, I'm sorry. You would just say @container, I think. Actually, you know what? I'm starting to feel like I don't remember exactly how to use it. Let's look up mixin syntax. It's been a minute. Oh yeah, super easy use thingy. Okay, so it's @include, my bad. So to use this, you would just do @include container. And now this library rule here in CSS will have all of this in it, which is super awesome, but it actually gets even cooler. So let's say every single one of these containers will have all of these properties, but maybe the height is different. So then you can't use this. You'd have to create another container mixin, right? Wrong. You can give it parameters. So you can call this height in here. And then you set the height to height, right? So whatever you supply this will be used as the height for this mixin. So what you can do in here is you can say for the library container, we want the height to be 200 pixels. And let's say for the person container, you could say @include container, and the height will be 100 pixels. And each of these rules will have the height, the width, and the background color, but the height will be dynamic based off of what you pass it. So mixins are really, really powerful, but also know that if you want to do something like color red, that won't work. And that's because you need to also supply this. You have to put @content at the very, well, I don't think it needs to be at the start, but I always put it at the start. But this will allow you to also include your own custom styles outside of what's given in the mixin. So now this color red will work. But if you're the only thing that this container is going to do, or every time you need to use this container mixin, you don't ever have to use any other styles. You don't need this container content rule here. I'm not sure. This just allows you to write more. I'm not sure. Let's actually look at what content means. @content in SASS mixin. Let's see if we could find it. Okay, so content blocks. In addition to making arguments, and an argument is what I mentioned here with this height. So in addition to making arguments, a mixin can take an entire block of styles, known as a content block. A mixin can declare that it takes a content block by including the @content rule in its body. The content block is passed in using curly braces like any other block in SASS, and it's injected in the place of the content rule. So this would be, I don't know why they're using such a complex mixin here, but this is just a mixin called hover, and in here you're doing @content. Which looks like it allows you to add in this border width that they're doing here. I don't know. Either way, the simple answer is having this here allows you to write other styles that are outside of what's in the mixin. Like JavaScript for CSS, pretty much. I always just do this, selector and selector. So content that you can add other styles, correct? Yes. So I'll give you like a really good example. Let's say we had a mixin called height, and it had 100, we put height in here. And we just say height is equal to height. And let's say we had a container here, and this is just our CSS now. We can say we want to include the height mixin, and we want to set it to 100 pixels. This works perfectly. There's no issues here. But if I started doing background color green, color red, with 100%, this container rule is only going to have the height of 100 pixels. It's not going to have any of this stuff unless I include content. We need to include that, so that way we can include our own content in the for the CSS. Simple, simple. But yeah, that's a little tidbit of some stuff, because they mentioned there's a mixin in here. I just wanted to help you with some of that. I love SASS. SASS is awesome. It helps you do some really, really cool stuff. Like I have a, I don't know if I can pull it up. I'd have to figure out where. Let's not get into it. This isn't about mixins. But if you guys want an entire stream about SASS and mixins, maybe we could do that next week. Tidbit. Thanks, Dustin. I like SASS. Me too. Looks like me and Dennis agreed on something. Don't feel bad about only knowing 1% of it. Trust me, I feel like I know a whole lot of SASS, but I feel like I only know about 1% of it too. You can run loops. You could run logic like you're writing JavaScript. It's so crazy what you can do with SASS. Maybe next stream we'll just talk all about SASS, because I could talk forever about it. I actually really want to update our entire SASS course at Treehouse, but guess who doesn't have time to do that? This guy. Yeah, we'll have a sassy stream. Mark it red into your calendar, Dustin. You guys are funny. All right, so it looks like this div right here has the data BS theme equals light, and this one has dark. So I think that's all I have to do per component, unless I want to put it on the HTML. So as per the docs, I think what I can do on this HTML right here is add that data BS theme equals dark, and it should automatically make my UI dark. It does. Look at this UI dark. Okay, so far Bootstrap is really, really cool. It's really, really easy. I'm not gonna say cool yet, but it's getting there. It's getting cool. So as per the docs, because I'm setting this on the HTML tag, I no longer have access to component by component basis. I'm not on a component basis with light and dark mode anymore. So if I go and set this nav to light, I don't think it'll work. Okay, it does. So maybe I didn't understand the docs, because it says once you use it on an HTML tag, specific components and elements. Wait, sorry. Color modes can be toggled globally on the HTML element. Where did I read that it said alternatively, you can also switch to media queries thanks to our color mode. Okay, so it's the media queries. So if I use it globally or on component basis, we won't be able to have access to using it for media queries. But I don't see a use case where a certain size of the screen needs to be dark and the other sides would be light, unless this gets more involved. But no, at least if I need it on a component basis, it's easy. And if I want to do it globally, it's as easy as literally just adding in this data attribute to the HTML tag of the document. Really cool. That I didn't know. Thanks for testing. Celebration. It's overwrite, Dustin. It's like in CSS. Yeah. All right, cool. Let's delete this sassy CSS we wrote down for that mixin example. What's this? Themes. Okay, that's a little involved. I just want to build a to-do app. So let's build our to-do app. Let's remove this this nav that we're not going to need anymore, and let's build a to-do app. So I'm going to need an input field. So let's look for some inputs. Input group, maybe. Oh, that's a lot. Can I just get an input? Is there just an input? Well, I guess I could just copy one of these. I actually really like this first one. Floating labels. Floating labels? What's a floating label? Oh, that's cool. Why? Okay. It's my first thing I don't like about this. Why is an input called a floating label? I don't like that. Oh, I see what's going on. So is the floating label, is that this text that pops up that says no items to show? That's really dumb. Like, just give me a label. I just want a label. I mean, I'm sorry, an input. I just want an input. But that's fine. I can just copy this. So let's copy this down. And I'm just going to throw in these components into the HTML first. And then once we kind of figure out if we have all the components we want, I'll structure it out. You have an input with a normally label outside. And then you have the floating ones like this. I'm assuming. Oh, I see what you're saying, Dennis. Okay, floating labels. That is really cool. As I click it, the email address goes up because it's actually a label. It's not the placeholder text, even though it looks like it. I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of cool. I don't think Tailwind has something like this. I like that little animation it comes with. I'm gonna actually be a little sad if I really end up liking Bootstrap more than Tailwind. But we'll see how it works with React, because React is better than vanilla in my opinion for most things. Stop laughing at me, Travis. Oh, so I have to use a placeholder. So what happens if I don't use a placeholder? Let's find out. Let's find out. Okay, so we got the email address. So if I take that placeholder off, it still works. It doesn't look cool, but it still works. I like that. But I like it with the placeholder. That's a really cool little subtle animation there. Cool. All right, so now we need probably the hardest component that any framework can build. Buttons. So I'm not going to get super into Bootstrap on this stream to figure out how to theme it the way that I want. We'll just use like the defaults. But maybe off stream I'll look into how we can set up our own custom like theme or color scheme that we want to go with. Comment, Dustin, comment. You know what? Yeah, Dennis, how about you contribute to it later and set up the that would be funny that your first contribution PR to one of my repos is because I'm using Bootstrap. I'm not gonna lie, Bootstrap seems pretty cool. It's a lot easier to use now than it used to be. I will definitely say that. This was not that easy. Or maybe I just know a little bit more now. I don't know. But it's basically a button is a type of button with the class of BTN. Oh, that doesn't do anything. So we need the class of primary or button primary. I'm going to go ahead and just do it manually so I can kind of get used to writing some of this stuff. So it's a button. We want to do type equals button. We're doing class equals button and then button primary, I think it was. Add to do. Cool. Simple. Seems simple. So Dennis, I'm assuming that there's classes, right? Like utility classes that I can add directly to the HTML like I do with Tailwind. Because I want to make this button full width here. How do I do that? Loyal to the old Command Z. I would not be a developer if it wasn't for Command Z. I'm just going to say that right now. Oh wait, you guys have been talking a bunch. Let me go up. I'll add a random danger button for no reasons. Yeah, you guys need to like pop in some Easter eggs into the repo for me to find. LOL, I get anxiety when I see Dustin delete something before seeing if he likes the result instead of commenting it. It's committing, not commenting. Commit. With -100. Okay, that's easy. By the way, I'm gonna do all of the commits instead of doing them in here, just so that you guys can get a little more familiar with some of the commands. I'll do them in here. So cd desktop /code /to do list app bootstrap. So if I want to take all the but now I'm in a meeting for a few minutes. All right, Dennis, I'll let you go. You let them know, though, you got to come back and learn some Bootstrap from a noob. Oh, she means comment in the code. Ah. Yeah. I love deleting stuff, and then I'm like, I should have just commented it out. But if you want to commit these changes, you could just do, let's save this file. You can do git status. You'll see that index.html is in red because we didn't commit it. So we say git commit. Actually, no, I'm sorry. You got to add it to staging. So git add. And now if you do git status, you'll see that HTML it's in there. And now we can do git commit -m, and we can write init commit because solely. Let me spell it right. Solely. And now it's committed, so we can say git push. And now it's up on GitHub. Should be anyway. So, yep, git commit because solely. But yeah, I totally thought you meant committing, but you meant comment. Like that. I'm very bad at not doing this. I need to do it more because you're right. I do delete stuff, and I feel like I feel like I shouldn't. I just waste time when I do that. All right, so Dennis said with full. So we're gonna do with dash full, and let's turn word wrap on. Oh boy, with full did not do a thing. Oh, it's not with full, it's with 100. Stop yelling at me, Travis. There we go. All right, is there? Do you guys know if there's like IntelliSense? Let me look and see if there's an extension for this. Bootstrap. 3 million downloads. I would assume that this is gonna have what I'm wanting. Yeah, listen to Soli. Stop yelling at me. Let me come to my own conclusions. Nah, don't do that, because then I'll just be asking, hey, Travis, are you around? Hey, Rohald, are you around? I need help. I need help. All right, let's install this and see if this does it. I don't feel like reading through it to see if it's what I need. It probably is, though. It's installed. So... oh, cool. Yep, it does work. I get the IntelliSense that I want. Kinda. So if I want padding... how do I do padding? Can I do padding 10? Does that do anything? It does nothing. Let's look at the docs. Customize, no. What would it be called? Like the utility classes. Components, color modes, color options, SASS, overview, option. Maybe it's options? Well, no, that's under customize. Components, helpers, utilities. Is this what I'm looking for? Probably not. Well, yeah, it might be. So let's look at sizing. What does P3 do? I thought unless I did P10 and it didn't do anything. Maybe 10 is not a valid thing. Is P3? Oh, it is. Okay, so P3 works. Not the Patrick voice. Stop yelling at me, you guys. Mayonnaise is not an instrument. I think that's what he says. Okay, so this works, but P10 didn't. That's so funny. You guys got me reenacting SpongeBob over here. Why am I going back and forth between windows? Let's set this up. Boom. There we go. Also, I'm going to close this down because we're not going to use anything but this HTML file. M-3 equals margin right. Well, margin. So that's simple, but I want to know what the value numbers are and why did IntelliSense not pop up? Yeah, see, IntelliSense isn't popping up here. But I want to know what my options are, because P10 did not work, see? But P3 does. So I need to figure out where those options are. Let's actually just make this window bigger. Utilities and spacing. Yep, that's where I'm at now. I'm in the utilities section. And I'm under spacing. Let's make sure. Yeah. P for classes to set padding, M for classes to set margin, T for margin top or padding top, so I'm guessing it'd be like MT or PT. Where size is one of, what does that mean? 0 for classes that eliminate the margin and padding. 1 is default. Okay, so it goes off of a quarter value. So we start at 0.25, go to 0.5. 3, which is by default for classes to set the margin and padding to spacer. So what is spacer set at by default? Hey Soli, do you know what this is with this $sign in front of it in regards to SASS? I know, it looks like Soli's helping me out. Soli got the bootstrap knowledge. So it's another SASS thing. So it's a really, really, really cool feature of SASS. So let's say I got a container. Let's say I have a another container, right? Let's say I have even more containers, right? All of these need a red background color. So do red background color. Now I have to paste that 3 times unless I do something like BG red that has that, and then I give all the HTML that class of BG red. But if we're working with SASS, we're likely not probably putting everything in the HTML. So this $sign is a variable. So just like in the docs where it says spacer, and I'm wondering what spacer means, spacer could be 0.75%. But for this example, I'll just say BG red, and then we could just say background color is equal to red. Oops. You don't have to put background color, by the way. You just put the value. So instead of doing this and saying red, I can say BG red, because BG red is equal to this value. So you just have to do that. So I can do that here, here, and here. And I know what you're thinking, like, okay, you still wrote it 3 times. But here's where it's really important. I would have to update it 3 times if we decided to make this purple. So I can just change the name here to, well, I'm not going to change it to purple, but let's say we want to change this color red. We could do that color instead. Now, all of these have that color because we're using this variable. But the way to define a variable with SASS is you start it off with the $sign, and then you give it a name, and then you give it a value. And then you just use name every time you want to use that value. Pretty simple. But that's another one of my favorite features of SASS, just being able to use variables. And you could do variables natively in CSS, but it's a lot more clunkier. You have to give it scope, so you have to put it where you want it to have that value, and you could change it and update it. But you would have to do something like --BG red, and then give it the color, and then to use it, you have to say background color var --BG red. So this is the same way to do it in just vanilla CSS, but it's a lot more clicky. It's a lot more confusing too. Nope, you don't need to install anything to do this. This right here is just regular CSS. And if you don't want to put it on the root, you could say this is on the body. And then everything inside of the body, which is pretty much everything inside of your HTML, has access to this variable. So if you want to screenshot that and use it, because the syntax is a little hard to remember if you don't use it often. I'm surprised I remembered it just now. But one thing that I do like about using this instead of SASS is if we had JavaScript and we wanted to update it, guess what you can't do? At least I don't think you can. I don't think you can update, I don't think you can update a SASS variable. The BG red one. No, so this is SASS. Using a variable like that. That's SASS, which is why I like using it. But one thing to note, and why sometimes I choose CSS variables over SASS variables is because in the JavaScript you can update their values. You can't do that in SASS. At least I don't think you can. I forget how to do it. I think so this body has this variable, right? So I think what you would have to do in JavaScript to make this work, you would have to say, we could say const body equals document.query selector, target the body, and we could say body.set property. And I think you just pass in bg red and then you change it to whatever you want. I think that's how you do it, but you can change this CSS variable through the JavaScript, which you can't do through SASS. Like I said, at least I don't think you can. But yeah, we keep going off track. If you can't tell, I have a huge passion for SASS. Gets me excited every time I see it. So that's SASS. I'm gonna get to learn that in Vue soon. Yep. Season. I was gonna say season 4. No, you'll get to learn it in Unit 4. Yeah, that was some JavaScript. Don't worry about that. I was just mentioning that for anyone else on stream that maybe wanted to know. Because when I first started using variables, I was like, this is great. This is great. I love SASS variables. And then I was like, wait, I can't update them with JavaScript if I wanted to. Yeah, I think next stream, I'm just gonna talk all about SASS. We're gonna get into how awesome it is and some cool stuff you can do with it. I think that'll be a really good idea. Okay, so it looks like we can go from 0 through 5 or auto. I still want to know what spacer is. I wonder if it's anywhere. Cool, so I can actually use the spacer value to update it if I need to, if I don't like 0 through 5, which is really neat. I like that. Okay, cool. Cool. So, theoretically, I can add a padding of 5 to this. Let's hit save. Yeah, make a big button. We're not gonna miss that button. Neat. All right, so let's get to building this app now. I'm gonna put this back to like spacing 3 for the padding, I mean. And what else do I want? Down here, I'm gonna want our to-dos, right? So I'm still gonna actually have to write vanilla JavaScript for this one. Yeah. I gotta put my vanilla hat back on. And I don't want this saying email address. Let's go and change that. Placeholder. We could say add a to-do. And for, why does it say email address? Oh, it's for this. It's the floating thing. Add a to-do. Add a to-do. And this button will add our to-do. Let's pop this into a form. So say form. And I'll just leave it empty. I wonder if that's gonna already add some stuff. No, it won't. Cool. But we could do class of P5. Give us some space. Look at me learning some Bootstrap. I'm not hating it, guys. I'm really not. Bootstrap's not too bad. Just gotta give it a chance. Hopefully Dennis will give Tailwind a chance one day. Cool, so underneath we're gonna use a list. So let's see what kind of cool stuff we got for lists. Do we have anything for lists? List group, there we go. Ah, I like these. These look pretty neat. Active item, we don't need that. Disabled, don't need that. Current button, don't need that either. These are kind of cool. There's so many options. I really like this. Is there any with a button inside, or we'll have to do it myself? Oh, cool. Really like this. I think we're gonna need this. We're gonna use this one probably. You know what? Yeah, let's do this, and we'll make a to-do app that's a little bit different than your standard one where you have like a delete button for each one. Maybe we can select multiple to-dos to delete at one time. I like that. So let's use this. Let's go ahead and copy this. I'll put this inside of I wonder if the container class does anything for me. If a container is anything in... Look how cool this looks. Dustin and Bootstrap sitting in a tree. I'm in love. I'm in love. Bootstrap is not as bad as I thought. Okay, so the container class comes with a max width of 960, it looks like. Which is good to know, because if I keep stretching, look what's going to happen. So theoretically, if I give my form a class of container, it should make everything look pretty consistent. And it does, but we're also using some padding in there, so that's why it looks the way it does. So let's also do the same thing. We'll add some padding. Form class of padding container. We'll just do the same thing for this container here. Just add in that padding. Now, it should look pretty similar. We do have a lot of top padding though. So would PX do anything to fix that? Sure would. And that's from Tailwind. And it look it kind of transfers over. Coding. Every time you say something weird, Soli, or not weird, but like just off of like the normal stuff, I'm gonna say it in Patrick voice. And I'll work on my SpongeBob voice for you. Coding. All right. This looks pretty simple right now. So the only other thing I'm gonna do now is add a delete button at the very bottom. You've been doing it already. I know, it's kind of a habit. All right, let's go back to the buttons and see what kind of, if they have any red buttons that we can use. Where's button? Content. Nope. Layout. Nope. Customize. Nope. I think it's easier for me to see this way. Buttons. It's under components, it looks like. Danger. This is Travis's button right here. So all this is a button dash danger. So let's not copy it. Let's work on our skills here. With everything we've learned so far, let's try to make this button full width at the bottom of our form. But here's the kicker. I don't want to be able to click that button at all unless we have at least one checkbox checked. So we might add this and then start writing our first bit of logic. What is this div for here? Let's see, let's follow the yellow line, the yellow brick road up. So it's for our container. So I'm gonna put this button outside of it. And I'm gonna say container, I'm gonna say we'll just do P5, though it's probably gonna add a whole lot. So let's do PX5. And that's actually gonna be it for that. And then here, I'll do a button, type of button. I'm gonna do a class of button danger. And I also wanna do a width of 100. Oh, that looks so bad. What did I do wrong? Oh, I didn't give it any text. Delete to do. There we go. Delete to-dos. Now that padding doesn't look very good. Oh, because we didn't add any. Let's do P3, like we did on the other button. And we just need a little bit of margin top. I'm gonna say margin top. We do 3. Or maybe 5. We'll do 3. I think 3 looks a little bit better. All right, let's make this back to the size that we want, so this looks a little bit normal. Width 100. All right, so this is our app. I wonder if there's a disabled class that we can just use right off the rip. Nope. Or, yeah, cool, there we go. Delete to-dos. Can't click it anymore because there's a disabled class. Okay, so this is our whole app here. Very, very basic. So now let's write a little bit of logic. Look at us bootstrapping. We are bootstrapping. We're doing a good job. Maybe I should like do this like at least once a month. Have a stream where I learn something on stream for you. Because this is cool. I never would have had the time to just sit down with Bootstrap before. I like that. I'm gonna work on some JavaScript now. Oh look, we already have a JavaScript file. Let's just use that. app.js. So we're gonna link it, and we're gonna link it. Do you guys know if we should link it before or after the CDN link? Do y'all know? And if you know, explain. Learn Angular next on stream. There's nothing to learn with it. I already know how to do Angular. Maybe I can build something with it. No, there definitely will be learning though, because I didn't use it much, and I hated it. But maybe we can build a to-do list app in every single framework. We can do Angular next, and then maybe some Vue, then maybe Svelte. What other ones are out there? Remix. Is Remix a framework? Van.js. Is that vanilla? Or is there something called Van.js? Right in the middle. Travis said, put that script tag right in the middle. All right, but you have to explain why, Travis. That was part of it. Remix is a React framework. Ah, gotcha. All right, let's pop this out. So we're gonna put our custom styles. We're gonna put it in after. That way we have access to everything in here. I believe. I might be wrong. Who knows? That's just my thoughts. In middle because Dennis. Everything's either because Dennis or because Soli. I want to look up what Remix is while I'm thinking about it. Is it Remix.js? I'm gonna just type in Remix framework. Remix framework. See what comes up. Build better websites. Focused on web standards and modern web app UX, you're simply going to build better websites. This is false. You're going to build better websites. They don't know if I'm going to use this or not. Oh, I don't like the lack of padding. It kind of bothers me. Unless they're trying to make... Okay, there's padding. I guess it's trying to make you think it's off the screen, maybe? I don't know. This feels like it needs some padding. Let's add some padding. We're going to add our own padding. Do like 30 pixels. Look at that. Look how much better this looks, in my opinion. Just adding some padding. Maybe we won't learn Remix on stream. We shouldn't be doing this. It's not a bad website, though. It's kind of Apple-y. Apple has a lot of these scroll animations. I've always wanted to try to build one, but I feel like it's probably a headache. I really like how this jumps out at you. This is cool. All right, enough. My ADD mind cannot be given things. I'm gonna run with them. All right, so let's get started with this. This should be pretty simple. So we have a form. Let's just go over the HTML. Let me close out everything so you can kind of get an overview of what we have in this app. It's really not much. It's three parent containers. We have our form, which holds our input and our button. And then we have, let's put a comment. And then we have our to-do list right here. Oops. Input, button, form up here. Then we have our to-do list here. And then we have our delete button here. Look at that. Took me back down the good old memories of having a hand-me-down laptop. Yeah, if you haven't seen that huge blue screen of death, you never had a hand-me-down laptop before. I know I have. I hated that screen. Actually, at my first developer job, I had to use a Windows, and I saw that screen more times than I wanted to. It was horrible. Remix is a lot of fun, in my opinion. I'm down to learn it. Maybe next stream we can actually learn that or hop into it. I do want to do a stream on SASS, though, so maybe after the SASS stream. Okay, so let's figure out how we're going to write the logic for this. Should be pretty simple. So we can say const form equals, and we'll set up a variable for our form. We'll do an input and our button. Or we might not need the button. Yeah, we might not need the button because it's inside of a form, so it'll work the same. So we'll say form equals document dot, we'll do query selector, we'll target that form. And we could say, actually, let's just work on one thing at a time. So we'll say form dot add event listener. We want to listen for submit. We want to grab the event because by default, I think it'll refresh the page, but it's actually not refreshing the page. Okay, it is when I hit enter. So let's see, do we have to put the type of button as submit? Yes, okay, so now it reloads the page. So we can say e.prevent default. And if we hit save, it should not reload the page anymore. Sweet, it does not. I'm a wizard. I'm a straight up wizard. I guess for now, let's see if we cannot console.log the whatever's in our input field. So let's get a reference to our input field. Say const input equals document.query selector input. And I think that's our only input, so we should be fine doing this. Let's make sure. Input, 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 input. Oh, nope. Looks like we have some inputs here. So let's give this a unique ID. Let's go back up to our form. And we'll give this oh, already has one. It's called floating input, which is not helpful. So let's just give it a class. We'll say to do input. So we'll target this input with a class of to do input. And we could say console.log input.value. Should work. Should work. Maybe change input from type of email to text. That would also be a good idea. That's a good idea, Travis. And I'm gonna hit enter. Yeah, and it won't even let me because it's not an email address. See, that is a good idea, Travis. Good idea, Travis. Let's go with text. All right, Travis is the man. And I get an error. It says input is null. All right, let's see what's going on. Query selector, input. Maybe let's just remove this input. It's been a minute. Still, oh no, we get it right here. What is this then? What's all that? Let's close that. Travis is the man. Any browser will produce an error with that string, LOL. Yeah. Remove space and selector on line 2. Oh, you know what? Yeah, you're right. So what this was doing was looking for an element with that class name inside of input, like as a child. But if you take the space off, then it's looking for the input with the class of to do input. Good catch, Rohald. Not even close. You're going to be in here for a long time. What is that on? That makes up for all my yelling earlier. Yeah, true. Look at me yelling in the input over here now. Let's make this a bit bigger so you guys can see it. All right, so now we're getting our to-do logged. That's great. Let's set up an array for our to-dos. So a const to-dos equals an array, an empty array for now. And we can say to-dos dot push input dot value. And then let's console.log our array of to-dos and see if every time we type something in here, it adds to it. All right, so the array has one item in here that says Travis is the man. And then we're gonna put Rohald is equal to brohold as the second one. Cool, now our array has both of those, and solely is not equal to a bad programmer because she's equal to a good one. Cool, so we're getting this array updated, which is what we want. So we should be able to create our, actually I'm thinking in React, I'm thinking in state. I don't think that would actually work. I think we just need to append it. Yeah, that's all we need to do. We just need to append it. So let's not do that. Like I said, I'm thinking in React over here. Let's grab a reference to this area right here, so we can append each one of these to-dos. Don't swell my head like that. We all believe in you. You stick with us. You're gonna be a great programmer. So it looks like we have a UL called list group, and every single list item in there contains all of this. So let's go ahead and copy this. Yeah, let's go ahead and copy this. And I'm gonna say const list item equals, I'll set up just a string with all this in there. Let's use single quotes maybe. Why is this not? Is it this spacing that's messing it all up? It's been a minute since I've done this. What's all this yelling at me for? Yeah, I think it's all that spacing. I think that's the only thing that's really messing up. Okay. Wait, we got more. They're all green too. Green. Man, it's so crazy when you don't write vanilla JavaScript in a while, trying to like remap your brain or rework your brain to thinking in this, because I'm thinking like straight React and updating state, which you don't do anymore. So let's set up a function. We'll say function add new to do, and we're going to take in to do as an argument, and that's basically going to be the input.value. So we can already call this. We can say add new to do, and we can say input.value. And inside this function, if we just console.log the to-do, which is the input.value, it should work. So testing, hit enter, testing gets logged to the console. Great. But what we want to do is we want to append this list item to the UL. So let's make a reference to that UL. We'll say const to-do container equals document.query selector, and we'll target the UL with the class. We'll just call it to-do container, and I'll go ahead and set that up because it's not currently set up. So we'll say to-do container. And what we can do is inside of our function, we can say, for now, we can just say list item, to-do container.append child, and it will pass in this list item. Now, it's not gonna have our to-do in there yet. We're gonna have to figure out how to do that. But right now, it's just gonna add in another one of these list items. So if I hit to-do, it breaks. What do we do wrong? Node.append child, one argument is not an object. Okay, so we gotta figure this out. What Travis said to Dustin. Let's see, may not want to hard code ID in there. ID, which one's, yeah, there was an ID, wasn't there? ID, first checkbox. Yeah, I'm probably gonna actually just do this by creating new elements, to be honest. This is just like for me to use as a reference, I think. I think that'll be easier. Let's take the word wrap off so we can see. So add new to do. We're taking to do container, which is our UL with the class of to do container. and we're appending this child to it. Why is this not working? I'm getting node.append child. Argument 1 is not an object. What if I say LOL? Does that work? Yeah, no. So I'm thinking maybe to do container. This isn't valid maybe, because list item is a string, not an element. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, you know what? Let's just like stop being lazy. Let's say we'll say const li equals document.create element li const. Well, what are actually in here? Because it's kind of hard to see in that interpolated value. We'll just do this really quickly. Make this a little bit smaller. If it's too small, let me know. But this is what we're gonna recreate. So we'll say li.classList equals, and we'll do list group item. Oops, list group item. I've blackmailed Travis into being our Ask All Questions guy today. He's got to make up for that yelling he did earlier. Put him to work. Put him to work. I'm kidding. So now we could say const input. Actually, we cannot because, well, I think we can because of scoping, but we do have that up here. So let's just do it. Say const input equals document.create element. We want to create an input. And input.classList equals form check input me1. And we'll say input.type equals, and we'll do checkbox, and we'll say value, well, value is empty, so we'll just leave it empty. We'll say ID equals second checkbox. Oh, I see what's going on. I know why you said that, Travis, with the ID. That does suck. I wonder how you would dynamically render that. Hey, what's up, Laura? Laura's here. Laura's here to save the day. I could totally picture you doing that emoji. I'm pretty sure I saw you do it yesterday, actually. Laura, we are diving into the wonderful world of Bootstrap. I haven't used it but maybe once in my whole life, years and years and years ago. And it's surprisingly a lot better than it was. I'm actually having a lot of fun with it. So we're building out a vanilla JavaScript to-do list app with it. And if we have time, we'll do a React version afterward and see which one was easier, which one was harder. But I'm actually having an issue that I don't think I've ever had this issue before, so I don't really know how to fix it. With checkboxes, if you want, let's see, how does this work? Actually, I do know how we should fix it. Instead of just hard coding second checkbox, we'll actually use the to-do that we return as the name, because the name will always be unique, or should be. We can add some error handling to make sure. So let's say ID is equal to. Let's backtick it. Oh, we could just say to do. I think that should be fine. Oh no, you froze, but we can still hear you. Oh yeah, that's because of that stupid animation thing. I need to go turn it off. All right, I turned off the reaction, so it should no longer happen. I'm gonna turn it back on real quick, and I'm gonna see if I can get some confetti to pop up, and then I'll fix it. Where's the confetti? Let's do it. Don't make me look stupid. Come on. Come on. Come on. I just looked stupid, and it's not gonna work. It's not gonna do it. It worked. It broke, but it worked. All right, I'll fix the camera. I'll turn off the reaction. They don't want us to have fun. All right. You guys can see me, right? That's what I get for trying to have fun. I just break stuff. All right, so really quick, let's kind of go over what we're doing in the function. So in the function, we're creating a list item, and we're adding a class list. Well, we're adding a class to it, which is the list group item, which is a Bootstrap class. And then we're creating the input that lives inside of the list item. And then we're gonna have to append this to that list item. And then ultimately, we're gonna be left with a list item that holds all of our markup that we're gonna append to the to-do container. Grab me some lunch, Laura. Please. Please, please. All right, so we're back to the ID. We got that settled. So now we're gonna need to make a label. So we can say const label equals document.create element label. We could say label.class list equals form check label. And there's a for attribute. I'm wondering if I can just do that. Or actually, I think I'd have to set the attribute, right? Yeah. So we could do label.set attribute. I think that's what you use, right? Label set attribute. I think that's the right thing. We'll find out. We want to set the for attribute. We want to say second check. Well, no, we don't want to say that. We want to match it with our to-do. Reason being, if you click on the label, you want to be able to toggle the checkbox. And you can't do that if they don't have the same ID and for attribute. If they match, you can click them. If not, you have to click the checkbox, which is bad UX. You want to be able to click the title instead of just the checkbox. See? If I click on this text, the checkbox works. But if the for attribute and the ID attribute did not match, you wouldn't be able to do that. So that's a super important UX thing. So we're setting the ID to the to-do that the user sets up. So we're also going to set that as the for attribute. And we can say label.text content is also equal to to-do. And I keep saying label. What is a label? All right. Now what? Is that it? That's it for the LI. So what we need to do now is we've created the LI, we've created the input, and we've created the label. But the LI does not have the input and the label inside of it. So we need to do li.append child. And we want to append the input. Then we want to say li.append child. We want to append the label. So now we have an LI that has the input and the label inside. The label. And now we can say to-do container, which is our ul, .append child li. Hopefully that just worked, because that took a bit. So if I do testing, cool, it adds it. It doesn't look right though, so we are missing something here. Let's see what we're missing. The input form check input me1 that's all right. So why does this look like it doesn't have any spacing right here? Let's see. Huh. It kind of looks like it. I don't know. Let's see. Make this a little bit bigger. Form check input. That's right. me-1. Type checkbox. Form check label. I didn't say label. Label. And this is for testing. So let's see what it looks like for one of the other ones. There's a margin right for the me1 class. There's a margin right of 0.25 rem. Why am I not getting that on this if I'm using the me1 class? I wonder if it has anything to do with rendering this through the JavaScript. I bet you it does. Also, I'm not seeing our ID on the label, on the input. that's because I need to write input.id. But that's not going to fix our issue. But it's kind of something to note. ME-1. Yep. Let me make the actual like dev tools a little bit bigger. So if I hover over one of these, you'll see that the input has this class of ME-1, and in here it shows that ME-1 is a margin right. So if I turn that off, they now look like my input here. So I am rendering it on my input, but it looks like it's not applying the class. And I don't know why. I think it literally could be because... Oh, well, it adds it there. I think it could be because we're rendering it through JavaScript. See, now if I add ME-1, oh, it still doesn't work. So I'm wondering, maybe is there something on the label? Do these labels have anything? Nope, they don't. I don't know. Bootstrap isn't MR. I don't know. I didn't add this ME class. ME-1. ME-1. Let's see. ME-1 is a margin right of 0.2 rem. This is coming directly from Bootstrap right here. Yeah, I'm thinking the issue's got to be because we're rendering this with JavaScript. So these class names aren't working. But this ME-1, if I do ME-2, it adds the spacing that I need. Maybe we can just do ME-2. See if that works. All right, so let's hit refresh. Let's do take my tech degree exam. Okay, so it does work. So the classes do work. So Rohald said it's the white space. Not entirely sure what's causing that on the hard-coded ones as well. Yeah, it's kind of weird because what I'm rendering pretty much matches this. So let's not worry about it. Let's just remove all these list items because we don't need them any longer. And we set ME to ME-2, and I think that's going to be good enough. So if I hit enter, yeah, we get a little bit of space in between. So I'm not sure why ME-1 works differently hard-coded versus in JavaScript, but it does. So we have some bad UX here though, guys. A simple fix too. So let's knock that out. Basically, when you submit something, like if I hit enter, it adds our new item here. And by the way, we can click the text and the checkbox works, so that's perfect. But we have an issue. I think this should be emptied once we add one, right? So in our function where we create a new to-do, let's go ahead and call our input and say input.value is equal to an empty string. And now it should refresh it, I think. Yeah, it should, but it's not. Why is it not doing it? So if I say, tell Rohald thanks for all the help he gives me in the stream, it works, but it doesn't. So input.value equals an empty string is not doing anything for me. Maybe put that inside the event listener. Let's do it. So we want to prevent default. We want to add the new to do, and then we're going to put input.value and say empty string. Thank Travis for helping me with this bug. Cool, and I don't know if it worked. I accidentally pressed something. Thank Travis again in all caps. Cool, it does work. Thanks, Travis. You know what I don't like? I don't like this. Look at this. Look at the way that this looks. This would be a fun fix. And it would allow me to use a little bit of Bootstrap that I don't know how it works, but we'll figure it out. So, oh, and we'd have to do it in the JavaScript now. So let's not do it. Maybe that'll be a issue that y'all can fix, but it's easy. I think what we can do is we can say, if we have a super long one, like that, you would just, look, I can do it in the dev tools. the dev tools were bigger. So this list item, let's see if flex works as a class name. Oh, but now this is bigger. Let's put this over onto the right. That's not the right, but that's fine. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see what flex is. Let's see what we can do for flex. Enable flex behaviors. D-flex? What does D-flex mean? Responsive variations also exist for dflex and d-inline flex. So dash.dflex, we'll change it to a flex container, and then we could use flex row. D in Dustin flex. I do like that. I do like that. Okay, okay. Well, what we'll want to do is align the item center. So justify content, we can keep that the same. We'll keep it on its default, which is start. So aligning the items, we do align, choose from start, end, center, baseline, or stretch. Align items. So how does it work? Okay, so align items center. Simple. Okay, so let's just do it in the JavaScript because it seems pretty simple. So for the list item itself, we'll say dflex, and we'll say align items center. Simple as that. Simple as that. I think. Let's see. This is a super ultra long to-do item for no reason whatsoever. Cool. That looks a lot better. It keeps that checkbox right where we want it. Actually, let's add a little bit more spacing between it though. This is another super long to-do for no reason whatsoever. Ooh, that's a lot of space. Instead of redoing it over and over. Well, I think 3 will be fine. We can just do 3. Cool. I think that looks pretty good. All right, I'm gonna take a quick break. I need to get me some water. I'll be back in like a minute. Ain't gonna be long. Be right back. The build up in the music. Yeah, I tried to find something that was kind of cool. Gotta hydrate. Travis screaming at me, don't leave me. You guys are funny. All right, so what's next? Now we want to delete to-dos. Now, these are checkboxes. So, let's create a reference to all of them that we check for whenever we click on the UL. So we already have the UL container. So let's say to do container dot add event listener, listen for clicks. And in here we'll say const to-dos equals document.query selector all, and we want to target all of the inputs inside, right? Yeah, all the inputs inside. So let's console.log to-dos and see if we're even getting that back when we click on the container. So to do 1, to do 2, and to do 3. All right, so I clicked on it. Did anything happen in the console? This console is so small. I guess because my browser's small. Oh, that's why. Put this back down at the bottom. That's not the bottom. There we go. Console. Cool. So we get back our node list of all these items. So each of these to-dos is an input. It's a checkbox. So let's just call it to do check boxes to be a little bit more descriptive. So let's figure out how we're gonna do this. Actually, what are we doing? Why are we adding an event listener to the container? Yeah, we don't want to do that. First, let's set up the button, and we'll take that disabled class off for now. And we'll come back to that because we want to be able to click this, right? Or maybe I can add that in for you guys. I don't know. Let me know at the end of the stream. If you want to see me do it, we can do it. So when we click on that button, let's add that up as a variable. So we'll say const delete to do button equals document.query selector. And we'll do button with the class of delete to do. And we're going to have to go add that. So button class of delete to do. So now we should be able to do stuff when we click it. So if we do delete to do button dot add event listener click, you can say alert test just to see if this actually does anything, and it doesn't. The delete to do button is null. More than likely I misspelled something. Okay, yeah. This should be dash to do. Okay, so now it does our little alert message. So let's take every checkbox that is in a checked state and remove it from the UI. That should be easy to do. Should be easy to do. So let's do a reference to all those checkboxes again. We can say const to do checkboxes equals document.query selector all, and we'll want to target all the inputs. Well, no, we want to target all the inputs inside of our UL, right? So instead of saying document.query selector, we can do to do container.query selector to get all the inputs inside of that container only. So let's make sure that's working, because it sounds like it would in theory. So we'll do to do 1, to do 2, hit delete. Okay, yeah, so it does. We get all these inputs back. So let's just check. We'll say if, well, this returns a collection. So we might have to map over it or loop over it. So we could say to do checkboxes dot for each, and for each checkbox, we want to say if checkbox dot checked, which will return either true or false. If it's true, then we want to say checkbox dot parent node, which I think would be the input, right? Yeah, we can say dot remove. Parent node, I think, is a function. Do y'all know if parent node is a function or not? I don't know. Let's see. Let's see if this works. So I say to do 1, to do 2, to do 3. If I hit delete, nothing happens. If I hit this, I get an error. Parent node is not a function. Straight up. So now let's try it again. To do 1, to do 2, to do 3. Delete does nothing. Now if I click this, it deletes it. And it deletes it. And it deletes it. Cool, so this works. So theoretically, we should be able to delete multiple to-dos at one time. Right? Yeah, so to do 1. Well, let's actually make these to-dos. This is Soli's to-do list. Soli, give me 3 to-dos. Give me 3 separate to-dos that you want me to add to this to test if this works. It is a rainy week. It's been raining all week here. All right, Soli wants to go to the pool. I'm gonna put Travis, make app green. One more, need one more to do. Hold breath underwater for 60 seconds. Hold breath. Underwater for 60 seconds. All right, so theoretically, I should be able to delete all these in one go if I wanted. Cool, it works. All right, so that was pretty simple. I wish Dennis was here to see my awesome Bootstrap masterpiece, but he's not. You know what I really want to do? I don't like this big red delete to-dos button unless we have one selected. So let's do that. Let's do that. I think that'll be fun. And I feel like I don't know how to do that. So maybe I can learn. I'm happy. Look at this. Look at this Bootstrap app I did. Like, I almost hate to say it, but I feel like it's a little bit easier than Tailwind. Like, you already got the hover states. I mean, you don't have a lot of customization as of right now. So there's drawbacks. It's not just better than Tailwind. But we'll see. So right now, this delete to-dos button is here, and I don't want it to be here. It doesn't make sense to be here yet. Is there a hidden class? Is it hide? Nope, it's not hide. Is it hidden? It's not hidden either. Yeah. How do we do a display of none in Tailwind? I'm sorry, Bootstrap. Bootstrap. Can I just type in like hide? Hide's a collapsible element. Nope, that's not what I want. Let's just do display none in Bootstrap. How it works. Or the value of none. I just did none and it didn't work for me. Maybe I misspelled it like I always do. Nope, it's still here. You know who would know? Dennis would know. Okay, so D-none maybe? Oh, you know what? For D for display. So I bet it's D-none. Oh, look at Travis. He said D-none. We all would if we were Tailwind. Yep. Okay, so cool. D-none works. So I guess anything with a display property. I'm guessing display of grid, flex, or none. Inline, any of that. I think we're gonna have to put that D- in front of it. Shame on you, Bootstrap. I don't like that, but it's okay. So how do we do this? Well, These are thinking caps. Brian's back. Yeah, that D dash sucks. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. What awesomeness did I miss? Well, let's show you. So this is what we built, and we did it in Bootstrap. It was not painfully annoying to use. We actually really like it. I got this really cool input field here that does this animation when I type. But if we type, let's use the same one Sully used earlier, which was go to the pool. And then she said she was going to hold her breath for 15 minutes. I don't know how. I think 60 seconds would be easier, but she said 15 minutes. So, but what's really cool is give Brian a high five. So what's cool is you can delete a single to-do, or you can delete multiple to-dos when you click this delete to-dos button. Class list.add if container has content. Wait, hold up. Did I miss something? What do you mean? What are you talking about? Yeah, Dennis did straight up abandon us and leave us with this bootstrap mess. No, but Brian, what I'm trying to do is I don't like this big red delete to-dos button. So what I want to do is by default, I want to hide it. And we realize that anything with like a display of none, display flex, display grid, you have to do D dash before it, which kind of sucks. But want to hide it, and then once we start clicking on any of these, we want to have that button pop up. I think that's a little bit better UX. So I'm trying to figure out now, and I don't think I know how to do it. So we're gonna figure it out. Class list.remove, I meant. Oh yeah, we can do that. I think by like default though, I don't want it visible, so it makes sense to just have the D hidden in the HTML, and then we can like add and remove the D dash hidden when we don't want it. So what we need to figure out, I guess what we need to do is, oh wait, this will actually be really easy. We can just add an event listener to the to-do container, and we could check if there are any buttons that have the class of checked. Yeah, that'd be simple, because every time that we'll have one update or not, that to-do, that event will bubble up to the container, the parent, which is the to-do container. Yeah, it makes sense in my head. We'll see if it works. You know how much stuff makes sense in my head and does not work, so let's not get too hyped here. Say to-do container.add event listener. Listen for clickety clackety. And whenever there is a clickety clackety on the to-do container, let's Dustin is so smart, yo. Sorry, but I am hyped. Just a disclaimer. Brian, you taught me everything I know. Like, I'm not even kidding. You literally taught me everything. Well, I mean, Treehouse did, but it was because of your guidance. And this ain't hard. This is vanilla JavaScript. All right, so on clickety clackety on the to-do container, what do we want to do? Let's get a reference to the checkboxes again. So we'll get an updated variable holding the to-do checkboxes, and we'll say if to-do, well, no, we got to run the loop again. So we could say to-do checkboxes dot for each, and for each checkbox, let's remove that parentheses so it stops screaming at me like Roald. I think I already messed up. Yeah, I'm missing a parentheses up here, I think. And I think I need to add one. Yeah, I need to add one here or before it. You know what? You know what I like to do when I mess things up? Start over. To do checkboxes dot for each checkbox. There we go. That works. See, I don't know none of the syntax. My fingers know the syntax, if that makes sense. Is anybody else like that? Your fingers can write it perfectly, but your brain just cannot. You don't understand it. You have to do it with your fingers, or is it just me? It's probably just me. But we can say for each checkbox, if checkbox dot checked, then we want to render, we want to add that class list to our delete button, right? Do we have a, yeah, delete button. We can say delete button dot class list dot add, or I'm sorry, dot remove d dash none. Else, this won't work actually because it's going to check each one, so it's only going to work on the last one. Maybe we can do checked dot length. Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh. Let's just do this. I think it's not gonna work though. I say dot to do button dot class list dot add d none. So I could say to do 1, to do 2, to do 3, to do 4. Well, so this is okay. So I accidentally wrote to do 3 twice, and this is gonna bring up a bug that I was gonna mention at the end. But you know how you can click this label and the checkbox will instantly be checked? Look what happens if I try to do this last to do. Did you see that? It actually worked on the first one. Does anybody know why? Does anybody know why? This is such an easy bug to fix. I'm gonna leave it in here so that you guys can fix it. Solely knows if to-do.checkboxes.length. Oh, I see you only wanted it if 1 is checked. Never mind. Yeah, I'm gonna use to-do.checkboxes.length though. I have an idea of how I think I can make it work. Okay, so this list item holds 2 elements. It holds our checkbox and it holds our label for the checkbox. So the label has a for attribute, and the for attribute for each one of these is the to do. So the for attribute for this label right here is to do 3. Well, our ID on the checkbox also is the same as our to do. So the ID on the checkbox for the third one is to do 3, which works great. It allows you to click on the label and the checkbox works too. But IDs are, you cannot use the same ID. IDs are unique. So because I accidentally typed in to do 3 again, this has the same ID as this. I mean, this checkbox has the same ID as this. So when I click the label, it's going to the very first instance of it, if that makes sense. It should be an easy fix. There's a way that we can make this work. We can add like a, actually I'll make the fix here and then I'll delete it. So if anybody wants to do it, but you can say const interval equals, we'll start off with 1. And when we're adding our ID, let's backtick it. Okay, we can say to do, and then we'll say interval. And I'm gonna copy this because we're gonna use this again for the to do label. I think this is gonna work anyway. That's how my brain works. So we're setting the for attribute to our to do plus the interval, and we're setting our ID to the to do plus the interval. And we also need to change the text content. No, we don't. Text content's gonna stay just our to do. Sully is at the pool drinking a smoothie. That's a good excuse. You need to go hold your breath for 15 minutes though, don't forget. It's part of the to-dos. So now that we have this interval, we need to increment the interval every time we add a new to-do. So after we add the to-do, we can say interval plus plus. I think plus plus works, right? I don't know, we'll see. Let's see if this works. To do 1, to do, uh-oh. Now we're not, oh, that's so weird. Now it's giving me another, I wonder if there's something in the console. There might be something in the console. Yeah. Invalid assignment to const interval. Yeah, I think we need to do plus equals 1. That might work. So to do 1, nope, still invalid assignment to const interval. I don't think I can use the word interval. Let's do counter. And we could say counter. Oh, you're right. I was using const. Look at me being a dummy. Good job, Travis. Say let counter. All right, so to do 1, Reference intervals not defined. I gotta change it everywhere. Let's go to counter and let's do counter. All right, that should fix it. So to do 1, to do 2, to do 3, accidentally do to do 3 twice. So this should still work. And cool, now that works too. Why this popped up? I don't know. I think we were halfway through implementing this feature and it's being buggy. But now I can access each of these. And if you want to take a look at what's going on in the developer tools, you can see that the ID is to do 33 and the for attribute is to do 33. So it increments to do 34 on the next one because it increments. But instead of it saying 1, 2, 3, and 4, it's saying 1 and then 21 and then I think 31 or something like that. It's because it's making it a string. So we can do, how do we do that? We can say parse int, I think would work for this. And now we're just getting nitty gritty here for no reason at all. So to do 1, to do 2, to do 3. Let's see what it looks like now. List item, to do 22. It's still doing the same thing. To do 33. Actually, Brian said it first. I didn't see it. Haha. Sorry, Bri guy. Stealing your thunder. All good. Sully's at the pool drinking. Haha, really? That is so chill. Or let instead of const. Oh, dang. I'm sorry, Brian. I didn't even see you say that. It's so hard to keep up with the chat sometimes. But no, you guys are both very, very right. Maybe you guys can help me figure out this number thing. It's returning it as a string when it updates it. And I don't remember how to fix that. It's been a long time since I've dealt with numbers. And numbers suck. Numbers just suck. I would think parse int would work, but I'm guessing it doesn't. You could just add the hyphen to something in between to do and counter. What do you mean? You could just add a hyphen in between to do and counter. Wrap it in the number method or parse int. Well, parse int didn't work. Or do I need to be doing that here? Not here. Let's just try number first, see if that works. I forgot all about this number function. Let's see. To do 1, to do 3, to do 4. Yeah, no, it's still doing it. So I think what we need to do here is we want to add. So I think what it's doing is it's adding this like that. So if we just do 1, would that work? I don't know. If this doesn't work, I'm deleting this anyway. And it still works. Like the app still works. This is just me being, trying to do things the right way. Oh, so wrap parse int method. So wrap number method or parse int. I did that. It didn't work. Yeah, it's still making it a string, which is so annoying. This is where TypeScript would come in handy. All right, I'm gonna remove this because this works. I just wanted to show you guys. Let's set this back to do. Set this back to do. And we'll remove this variable. Let's make sure this all still works. To do 2, to do 1, to do 1. So this one matches. Okay, cool. So we're back to square one. So if you want to implement that feature, I kind of showed you how. What are we doing next? Oh, so we're still trying to figure out that whole delete thing, right? So we have a variable that holds all of our checkboxes, right? So let's remove this loop. And we can say checked, say let checked equal to do check boxes dot checked dot length. I wonder if that actually works. Spell it right. Why don't we? Let's console.log checked and see if that actually works. I don't think that will though. So this should fire every time we click on one of these because it's going to bubble up to the parent, which is where we have our clickety clackety event listener. Wait, I need the console. Yeah. To do checkboxes well, yeah, to do checkboxes is a collection, so that would not work. So we do need to still do it in the loop. So we say to do checkboxes for each checkbox, and now we can say let checked equals. Well, no, that still would not work. Let me think. I gotta think about this. To do checkboxes, we're grabbing every checkbox. I mean, we could do it this way. I think this is a little extra though, but we could say let checked equal. Well, we can say if checkbox dot checked is true. Okay, so let me go back. We'll set up in the top of the function. We'll say let checked equal. We'll just say let checked. You can select checked checkboxes only. Input type equals checkbox dot checked. I wonder if I can get the length though. See, what I'm trying to do is see. I don't know how long you've been around. If you know what we're trying to implement, I think that would work though. That makes sense. Let me see if this works, and if this doesn't, I'll try that out. Yep, you can check the length of the collection of selected items. Cool. Okay, you know what? I like that. It's a standard property of JavaScript arrays. All right, so let's see. You can select checked checkboxes only by using this input. Okay. Super nice suggestion. I agree. So let's say let checkboxes equal document.query selector all. Well, how would I use that? How would I use this? Oh, you know what? In the loop. I get what you're doing. So it would be to do. Well, we'll need to bring this back. So to do checkboxes dot for each checkbox. Actually, no, I don't understand. So like I get what this line of code that you said does, but I'm doesn't have to be in your loop. Just replace the input on line 37. Hold on. Let me see something here. Let me paste this in here so I don't need to keep looking for it. Oh, I did have it implemented. I was just missing quotes. Maybe that's what confused me. Ah, I see. Yeah. This needs to be inside quotes. Type equals checkbox dot checked. I do need to use single quotes though here, or it's gonna scream at me. Console.log. Let's do checked checkboxes.length and see what we get back. Sweet. Super awesome suggestion. That's awesome. Now I have everything I need. That's really cool. That's very simple too. I wouldn't have thought of that. I would not have thought of that. I don't write a whole lot of vanilla JavaScript, so this has been fun. By fun, I mean kind of annoying. Yes. Absolutely awesome recommendation. Thank you. So now that we have this, we could say, just write, we could say if checkboxes.length is greater than 1, then we can say our delete button dot class list dot remove d dash what was it, none, else. We want to add it back, so we can say else delete dot class list, delete to do button dot class list dot add d dash none. It should be that simple, but let's see. So to do 1, to do 2, to do 3. If I click on at least 1, it should show, and it's not. So it only shows, so maybe I need to update the logic a bit. So if it's greater than 0, my bad. I'm such an idiot. To do 1, to do 2, to do 3. And there we go. Okay, but now we got to delete this here too. So let's add another conditional in here. But we can add this on the delete button itself. So let's reuse this variable here, and whenever we hit our delete button, we'll say if check boxes dot length is equal to 0. We want to add that remove. I think that's what we need to do. So we say to do 1, to do 2, to do 3. This should show up. It goes away. It goes away. That's awesome. Cool. Cool. Yeah, that input type equals checkbox dot checked. I have not seen that in a long time. I forgot all about it, to be honest. Would there ever be an instance where you delete them and the number checked is ever greater than 0? Let's see. I'm a visual person. All right, so you say, would there ever be an instance where you delete them and the number checked is ever greater than 0? I don't think so. If they're not all deleted at once. No, it goes away. I only want to show the delete button if one of these is checked, because other than that, the delete button is redundant, right? So as we're checking, as long as one is checked, that delete button will show. You get what I'm saying? Get what I'm putting down? So even if we delete all of them in one go, that delete button goes away. So I don't think there's a way to break it. I feel like the logic is intact. Because the only other thing we can do is change our mind, right? So let's say we don't want to delete this. It still goes away. Yeah, so I think this works. Cool. So the to-do list app works as expected, but I think Soli is screaming at me for not having a title on here. So let's add a form title. Add a field set. Let's do like an H1 to-do list app. Class. I'm using a Tailwind class here and see if it works. It does. Cool. Text center is the same. I'm gonna do margin bottom 5. Cool. So I think that's it for the vanilla version. Now we should build out the React version, which should be much simpler in my opinion. I'm being super nice today. You being super nice is actually extremely loud. I hear you. I hear you in my head. It needs a title. It needs a title. Cool. I don't think there's anything else I want to do to this app. I want to keep it kind of simple. I think implementing that delete for like deleting all or a certain amount at a time was a pretty neat feature. I've never done something like that. Oh, Soli, I see your text in your chat in Discord. You really are at the pool. I would love to be at the pool right now. It is so rainy here. Reordering would be fun. So the whole idea of this stream is to build something very basic and simple with Bootstrap, because I haven't done Bootstrap in a while. And the person who wanted me to use Bootstrap had to leave, so he's not here anymore. So it's kind of redundant. But I wanted to build something super simple and quick that I can do in vanilla and then turn right around and do it back in React, which I think React's gonna be a lot simpler. And it's something I'm a lot more used to. But if you're new here, I create a repo for all of these things. And I strongly encourage everyone or anyone that wants to contribute. So if you want to add the reordering feature, fork it down, submit a PR. I would love to merge that in if it doesn't break the code base. And at the beginning of every stream, I'll go over the PRs I got from the stream before. So yeah, I think reordering would be fun, to be honest. It's disappointingly cold for me though. Outside or the water? Why is Bootstrap in light mode? I thought I put dark mode on. Or is this the docs? The docs, shame on them for not having a dark mode doc. Oh, they do. Maybe I was on some weird version of the docs. Yes. Spoon, knife, or fork it down, whatever you want to do. And just because I really like the idea of sorting, if no one PRs this and adds a sorting feature, I'll do it on the next stream because I think that would be a lot of fun. I think that'll be a really cool thing to implement. I don't mind doing it if no one else does it though. But I want to give you guys a shot at trying something. Okay, so I think we're good here. Let's set up these changes. CD desktop /code /to-do list app bootstrap. Git add, git commit, finished product without Dennis. Go figure. Git push it all up. You know what? I'm not even gonna tell him about the commit message. We'll see if he see if he sees this. Oh, that's funny. Hold on. I'm gonna just pop this. I'll just pop this in Discord. Hold on. Let me react to. I wonder if there's any cool pool. No. Swimming. I like that. We can do swimming. Gives me some good summer vibes. Sun. There we go. I like that. All right, are you guys ready to see me build the exact same thing in React? I was gonna try Tailwind if Bootstrap was hard to use, but Bootstrap is unfortunately easy to use, so I guess we're gonna use Bootstrap for the React version too. You could put money on it that he'll see that. Well, he'll definitely see it now. I popped it in Discord and I tagged him. Final product without Dennis, go figure. I feel like the highlights of my streams are my commit messages and my commit messages, my descriptions, all that stuff. All right, guys, I'm out of Ghost. So that means I got about an hour left in the tank. Now, we're going to build let's oh wait, I already got GitHub open. Let's create a new repo. To-do list app bootstrap react. This should be a lot easier, I think. To-do list app bootstrap react.